Hey home bakers, it's Jack here at bakewithjack.co.uk addressing hot bread making topics like, do I need to soak my dry fruit before I add it to my bread dough? Well, let's find out, shall we? Roll that theme tune. Hello to you and welcome back to the Bake with Jack YouTube channel where I make videos to help you make amazing bread every single time. This time of year we are cracking out homemade stolons and panettones and other festive fruit breads, and you might be thinking to yourself, sure, I soak fruit for a cake, but do I need to soak it before I put it in my bread dough? And the answer is no. And there you have it. Thank you so much for stopping by for your bread making tip. Hold on a minute. No, but I always do. There is more. We're going to talk about best dry fruit soaking practices in a couple of minutes, but for now let's talk about why you might, like me, want to soak your fruit when you put it into your bread dough. Soaking dry fruit like raisins and sultanas makes them juicy and plump. You don't have to do it, you could just chuck them all in there dry, but then you might find, as I have found, that the dry fruit sucks the moisture out of your dough, making it much tighter and much firmer than you initially intended. And if the aim of the game is fluffiness, which it almost always certainly is, sucking that excess moisture out of your dough is not the best thing for it. But hold your horses there for a minute, because soaking dry fruit and adding it to bread dough is not without its challenges. Plumped, juicy fruit is soft and wet, which amongst others presents us with two potential main problems. Softness means our fruit post-soaking is easier to burst or break, and wetness makes them difficult to incorporate into our bread dough without making it slippery and messy and stuck to everything within a 2-metre radius. You've been there? You're not alone. So upon deciding what to do and how best to go about it, here's a few pointers that might just be helpful. Don't soak everything. Some dry fruits are drier than others. I would soak a raisin, for example, but probably not a whole apricot, because they are often softer and juicier inside. Dry cranberries and prunes will often have a cut side, a large exposed portion where the water gets in and the flavour gets out. Candied peel would probably lose almost all of its flavour, and it probably wouldn't suck much moisture out of the dough anyway. Consider the type of fruit and weigh up the potential moisture gain / flavour loss ratio and make your own choice. Soak in the minimum liquid necessary, just enough to cover, because we want to minimise flavour loss from draining off the excess afterwards. The less you use in the beginning, the less you'll lose later on when you drain it down the sink. Soak overnight for best results. You can, and I certainly have done in the past, soak in hot water from the kettle for 10 minutes or so if you are in a hurry. However, overnight soaked fruit is always at maximum moisture capacity, the juiciest it will ever be. So get yourself organised ahead of time. Soak your fruit overnight for best results. Pat them dry really well. To avoid that slippery dough mess, lay some kitchen paper on a tray or on a board and pat dry your soaked fruit really well. Don't squeeze them too much, because you'll push out all that moisture again. Just give them a gentle press on the top to make them super dry, and you can, and I always do, get some fresh paper and give them a second go just to be sure that you've done your best. Be gentle with your incorporation technique of choice in order to preserve your fruit's natural shape. I did a video on this in the olden days, and I was probably a little bit over enthusiastic back then. Spread your dough nice and big, sprinkle your fruit all over the top nicely, and fold it up in stages gently so you don't smash them all to pieces. That way you should get a little bit of fruit everywhere, and the top tip here is during the first rest, I often give my dough a cheeky little midway fold. This helps to make sure the fruit is dispersed evenly, and also, as a bonus, strengthens the dough a bit more, allowing for a better puff the second time round. Softer dough is better. Sometimes I like to imagine a scenario in an extreme case to better get my head around a principle. So consider this for a minute. If your dough is dry and tough, and rock hard, and you're trying to incorporate delicate, juicy, soft fruit, you will likely pound those plump pieces into a paste. Yeah? Consider making your dough wetter, softer next time around to make it easier for you to do those folds that you need to and preserve the integrity of those moistened morsels along the way. I soak in water. You could try fruit juice of some description. I have always liked the idea, but I've never actually tried it. Perhaps soaking in orange juice could bring some additional aromas to our final bread. Try it. And on another note, I know it's nearly Christmas, and as tempting as it is at Christmas time to just say, well, let's put brandy in everything. Don't do it. In my experience, adding high percentage alcohol spirits like these, brandy, rum, whiskey, Cointreau, always stalls the puff. The bread seems to puff for a bit and then stop. I don't know whether the alcohol kills the yeast or whatever. Scientists, get down in that comments box and educate us all. Just sidestep the brandy this time around, okay? And save it for your mince pies or your Christmas pudding or your brandy cream or your cheese board or whatever else you want to put brandy in at Christmas time. Go nuts. So listen, I hope there is something helpful here for you upon deciding whether or not to soak your fruit. I always do. For stuff like stollen, panettone, hot cross buns and tea cakes, it makes the fruit so much juicier. So why not? Effort is always rewarded, if not straight away, then certainly in the long run. So thanks for being here. I know there's not a video every single Thursday at the moment, but I do try and put something helpful in your home baker's bulletin email each week. If you're not signed up to it already, there's a link underneath. You can sign up for it. It's totally free. It's just a little roundup of bits and bobs from the week. Listen, thank you very much for being here. Take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.